What's up, guys? My name is Mitchell here with Pronghorn Bicycles, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Cyrusher Ranger. Now, this e-bike is still kind of more on the budget side. It's very affordable, but it does pack a punch more than most e-bikes. So today we're going to take a look at why this has quickly become one of our favorites in the shop. Now, right off the bat, the Cyrusher Ranger reminds me a lot of the Avonton Adventure. They've both got those 4-inch fat tires that are really popular up here in northern Utah. They've also got similar 750-watt motors. Now, this bike is about $900 more expensive than the Adventure 2, so we're going to talk about some of the things that actually set it apart and make this bike unique. Now, for starters, even though this bike does have a 750-watt motor similar to the Adventure 2 or even the Cyrusher Komoda, this one is a 52-volt, which means there's a little bit more power, and you can feel it when you ride. It just feels like there's a little bit more power behind this bike than those other 750-watt motors that I've tested out. And because of that extra little bit of power, the way that the handlebars are structured, the twist throttle, and the way that this bike seats you, it reminds me a lot of a motorcycle. This riding experience is probably a little bit better than most e-bikes that I've tried in the shop. It just feels like you're more in control, and it feels a little bit zippier than most other e-bikes I've tested out. And speaking to that control, this is kind of a weird observation, but when I've tested out most other fat tire e-bikes in our shop and I've really tried to bob and weave on them, I feel like it starts to get a little bit squirrely when I'm really leaning. I start to feel like I'm losing a little bit of traction, particularly on roads instead of something like gravel. But with this bike, I could really bob and weave when I was test riding this. I could really take these sharp turns that I wouldn't dare do on other bikes, and I felt like it kept its traction, which is really odd because I don't know if these tires are anything that outside of the norm of what we've normally sold on other bikes, but man, these things feel like they really grip the road in a different way from most other e-bikes. Now, speaking to the comfort of this bike comes with full suspension, which does set it apart from something like the Avonton Adventure. And when I talked about the Cyrusher Komoda, one of their lesser models, I complained that the rear suspension didn't impress me. Well, the rear suspension on this Ranger definitely does impress me. It's really solid rear suspension, and on top of that, it's got solid front suspension. Riding this bike around, it was really comfortable, and it felt like it was eating bumps. Again, I felt more like I was kind of riding a motorcycle than a bike. I felt very in control and very stable the entire time test riding this bike. As far as the components go on this bike, it's got a pretty standard drivetrain. One thing I will say is that these brakes, these hydraulic brakes, worked great for me. They do say Logan on them, which I don't know if that's a tribute to the actual headquarters of this company, which is located in Logan, Utah, but I haven't seen Logan brakes before, but I will say I was impressed. They worked great, and we haven't had any problems with them. The display and interface on this bike are also awesome. I really like what Cyrusher's doing here. They've kind of simplified things, and I like this nice kind of horizontal display that they've gone for with the Ranger. The actual display is very common. It's pretty much the same as any other e-bike. You've got your different levels of pedal assist, then you've got your throttle, your screen will tell you how fast you're going, but the actual way that they set this up, it looks really nice. If I'm looking at it as objectively as possible, I have to say that the Ranger is probably the next step up from the Komoda or something like an Adventure. If you're looking for a similar kind of bike, but a little bit beefier, more power, more suspension, this is the bike for you. You're paying a little bit more, but it is a little bit more of a bike. Now, whatever bike you've got or you're going to get, I have to recommend these Tannis liners. These are great for preventing flats in your bike. It's going to be like 99% effective. We really haven't had any issues with them. They're a thick foam pad that goes between your tire and the tube. Basically, any of those little sticker weeds, they're not going to be able to penetrate this. You're not going to get flats anymore. So it does save you a lot of headaches. If you guys want to check those out, give us a call at 435-230-3775. Ask for Mitchell. I'll give you a quote for your tire size and what your bike is. But thank you guys for watching.